mother-in-law spent years sabotaging our relationship until karma made her pay for it.
Yeah, and that is a
Big ol' price tag.
My boyfriend and I are a gay couple together for 4 years now. Since gay marriage is illegal where we live, we cannot get married, but I still have a mother-in-law. And quite a nasty one. By the way, this comes from Lime Popcorn, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, when her son came out to her, she simply refused to believe it. In her mind, it didn't match what she expected, because my boyfriend carries himself in a very masculine way. He's a lumberjack, and lumberjacks can't be gay.
Well, they certainly work with a lot of wood.
So she assumed he was joking. When he brought me over to meet her for the first time, the reality of it finally hit her, and there was a massive scandal. She did not speak to him for months. Then she eventually decided she might as well get to know the person her son was with, I guess. Which is how I ended up sitting across from her for the first time, trying to make a good impression on a woman who had already made up her mind about me. The first thing she asked me was what I do for a living, and I told her I was a police officer. She immediately burst out laughing. Ah ha 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 ha! The kind of uncontrollable laughter that makes you wonder if something is medically wrong. My boyfriend and I looked at each other, completely confused. When she finally calmed down, she told us she had assumed I was a spicy dancer or a hairdresser, not a cop, and that she found the idea of someone like me working in the law enforcement absolutely hilarious.
She's like, you're a cop, but you enjoy people.
That doesn't make any sense to me in my stereotypes.
What happens if you're arresting someone and suddenly you want to marry them?
You have to cut my hair right now, because I think you're a hairdresser.
What are like the most stereotypical... Honestly, I would say lumberjack is one of them.
Stereotypical straight, like, man, mechanic, firefighter.
I guess like engineer, steel worker.
I just don't know,
Steel
man.
worker.
It's like, yeah, you can be gay anywhere,
It's
folks.
True. It's true.
You can be gay on the moon.
That's true. Many people have told me over the years that I do not look like what they expect a cop to look like. Maybe because I look younger than my age, but they always said it kindly. Mother-in-law said it with a particular kind of meanness behind it. The sort of comment that is designed to land like an insult while technically just being an observation. I think she really wanted that to be an insult. Ironically, being a police officer is actually how my boyfriend and I met in the first place. He was out one night, made a couple of decisions he probably should not have made, and it ended with me arresting him. Ooh.
Said, officer, take me away.
Oh, we're already using handcuffs? Okay. He sobered up the next morning, and we got to talking, and something clicked between us. 4 years later, and here we are. I always find it a little amusing that the job mother-in-law finds so laughable is the very thing that brought her son into my life. But that's not the main story here. It was just a bit of background so you understand what kind of person we're dealing with before things really get going. The real trouble started when renovations began at mother-in-law's house, and she needed somewhere to stay for 2 weeks. She wanted to move in with us, and my boyfriend and I talked it over. 2 weeks isn't long, we told ourselves. We can manage anything for 2 weeks. Let's be decent about this.
Yes, let us be decent folk.
I don't know if we need to have her stay with us for 2 weeks when she doesn't support her son or his relationship at all.
Yeah, but you know, they're bigger people. They're bigger people than his maman.
Yeah, I guess so. We were very wrong. She stayed for 5 days before we asked her to leave. Yeah, they only didn't even get through 1 week of that.
Well, you got a little more than a third of the way through it, so, you know, power to you.
And those 5 days were genuinely awful. She had absolutely no respect for the way we lived. Every night, the moment we turned off the lights, she would start running back and forth through the house, to the kitchen and back, to the bathroom and back, thumping her feet so hard on the floor that it sounded deliberate. What? Did she get in her steps in?
Just walking on those heels.
Why?
Just pounding those heels directly into the ground.
Is she a cat? I don't
Cats
understand.
really move in complete silence.
No, cats are so noisy.
No.
Yes. Cats are like, oh my goodness. Every cat I've ever been around in at night, they're just like,
Oh, well, that's different. When they get when they have the zoomies,
Yes.
that's different. But when they just
That's what I'm talking
move, they're
that's what I
they're ambush predators.
That's why I was referencing a cat when I was talking about this woman running around at night.
But Sophia,
lights
I'm
are
a
off.
literalist. Cats can't turn on the light.
Oh, she didn't turn on the lights. They turned off the lights, and then she started running around like a cat. Anyway, an elephant in the house would have made less noise. Every time we brought it up, she would say something like, well, what am I supposed to do? Just not eat or not use the bathroom? If you were really tired, you would sleep through it. There was never any acknowledgement that she could simply try to be a little quieter, and the idea seemed to genuinely not occur to her. She also had some deeply unpleasant habits around the house. She never washed a single dish, just left everything piled in the sink and waited for one of us to deal with it. She would eat a candy, decide she did not want the rest of it, and instead of throwing it away, she would just stick it to whatever surface was nearest, the side of the table, the windowsill, the arm of a chair. That's disgusting.
What candies is she even eating? Like half a gummy worm, and then she like just sticks it onto the couch.
That's so gross.
That is Sophia's worst nightmare.
Yes.
Ugh.
Oh my goodness. We kept finding candies stuck to furniture in every room of the house. She cut her nails in the bathtub and left them scattered on the floor of it, which meant every time you stepped in without thinking about it, you would feel them under your bare feet. It was genuinely disgusting. I kept thinking, does she do this in her own house? Probably. I had only been there once and everything seemed clean. Oh, well, then maybe she only does it where she doesn't think it matters.
Yeah, she only does it where she wants to be disrespectful.
Yeah. So either she only behaves this way in other people's homes, or she has a very good cleaning routine she was choosing not to apply to ours. But the last straw happened one night, and that is when we decided she's gotta hit the road. It was late. We were in our room, and my boyfriend wanted to be together.
Oh,
Oh, you got an ICU?
you wanted to be together like
Biblically.
together.
Biblically.
We wanted to conjoin. ICU, they want to have banging.
Biblically.
They want to make bang.
At first, I felt a little uncomfortable given that his mother was just a few rooms away. But then I thought about it rationally. It was night. It was late. She must be sleeping. And we would be quiet. We were a couple of 4 years. This was our home. And we were quiet. To hear us, you would have had to literally press your ear against our bedroom door. People always think that, though. And that is apparently exactly what she was doing, because the door suddenly swung wide open. Mother-in-law walked in, turned on the light, and started screaming, "What's going on here? What are you doing? Have no shame? She didn't raise her son like this. What?
I didn't raise my son to be gay. Well, he is. And he's doing it.
He's doing it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that's wrong with this is that you barged into someone's closed bedroom in the middle of the night.
So weird.
You freakazoid.
So weird. I looked at her and thought, what exactly does she think is going on? We're in our own home. We are a couple of 4 years who love each other. Did she genuinely believe we would never have a private life together? I don't know what she thought.
Yeah.
The sheer delusion of it was almost impressive.
I don't know. I think out of just pure instinct, I might hit her with the RKO out of nowhere. Just full on Randy Orton style, like, intruder! Oh my God, mother-in-law, I'm so sorry. You were in the danger zone.
You leap out of bed and you go, no!
And an announcer from somewhere goes, watch out, watch out, watch out. And then whoop, hospital visit.
Yeah, you bring one of those folding chairs out of nowhere.
Not the folding chair. That doesn't happen until the hospital.
Oh.
The doctor actually brings that one out.
The next morning, we sat her down and told her she needed to pack her bags. My boyfriend gave her enough money for a hotel where she could stay comfortably until our house was finished. We explained clearly that we could not continue living together because she did not respect our home or our privacy. She wailed and cried for what felt like a very long time. She sat on the sofa and refused to move, so eventually my boyfriend packed her bag for her. When she finally left, she looked at both of us with genuine hatred and said some very unpleasant things on her way out the door. We told ourselves the worst was behind us. She was at the hotel, things were quiet, and life felt normal again. That did not last long.
No.
Oh, no.
There's a bunch of comments being like, is mother-in-law just upset because she found out her son is the bottom and not the top?
She's like, I didn't raise you like this. Get back up there.
I raised you to be a winner. And by that, I mean on top.
A number of days after she left, I was at work and nearly at my lunch break when my phone rang and mother-in-law's name appeared on the screen. I answered, already suspicious because she does not like me and I do not like her, and there was no good reason for her to be calling me directly. She told me my boyfriend had collapsed at work, lost consciousness, and been taken to the hospital by ambulance. What?
Okay. And yeah, he's immediately going to clarify this, but my first thought was, are you trying to lie to the cop who can probably figure this out instantaneously with the resources at his disposal, whether or not this is a lie?
Now, as a police officer, it is second nature for me to ask questions rather than just react emotionally. So I started asking them. She said he had called her from the hospital and that a nurse had gotten on the phone and told her all the details of his condition. That detail alone made me pause. We have been together for 4 years, and if he were genuinely lying in a hospital, I would be the absolute first person he would call, not his mom, especially after everything that had happened during her stay with us. Beyond that, hospitals here are simply not permitted to share a patient's medical information with anyone over the phone. They can confirm whether a person is present, but anything beyond that requires you to come in person. It's not a complicated rule, and it's not one that gets broken for phone calls from worried relatives. I asked her which hospital. She named one and told me to hurry up and get there. I hung up and called my boyfriend. No answer. I called again. Still nothing. I will admit that the silence made me feel uneasy for a moment, some small part of me wondering whether I was being too skeptical. But then I called the hospital she had named, and they told me they had no patient by his name. I called every major hospital in the city. The answer was the same for every single one.
You know, it's absolutely despicable to do this, but to then also do this talking about your own child. It's
Yeah.
like the bad omen you are wishing to visit you is insane.
Yeah, I mean, just like the karma. You gotta knock on some wood after that, because this is terrible to even put into the universe. About an hour later, my boyfriend called me back, apologizing because it had been a busy morning at the coffee house where he works as a barista. I told him his mother had called me saying he was in the hospital with a concussion. There was a pause on the line, then he said, very calmly, What? What hospital? I've been here since 8 this morning. I'm completely fine. Nice try, mother-in-law. Foiled again. That evening, my boyfriend called her, and he was angrier than I had ever seen him. He wanted a straight answer for why she had invented a story about him being in the hospital. What was she trying to accomplish? It came out during that conversation that she had actually driven to the hospital she had named and sat in the car park in her car watching the entrance to see if I would show up. When my boyfriend demanded to know what the point of it all was, she said she had wanted to test whether I actually loved him. Her logic was that if I truly cared about him, I would have dropped everything, asked no questions, and run to his side the moment she said the word hospital. Yes, if OP really loved his partner, he would become an idiot.
If you really loved him, you would turn off your critical thinking centers and let me lie to you and trick you.
The fact that I had asked questions first, she said, proved something was wrong with how I felt about him. I found this genuinely baffling. Asking questions when you receive a sudden unexpected phone call about a medical emergency is not a sign of not caring. It's a sign of being a rational adult, which as a police officer, I'm professionally required to be. But explaining that to mother-in-law would have been like explaining it to the wall beside her. My boyfriend told her clearly that if she continued behaving this way, he would cut contact permanently. She told him he was her son and was obligated to listen to her and that everything she did was for his own good. He ended the call. What came next was a significant escalation and the one that genuinely scared me, not for myself personally, but for my career. I came home after a night shift and was fast asleep when my boyfriend eventually woke me, to tell me that several missed calls had come in from my police station while I was sleeping. I called back and was told to come in immediately. I assumed something major had happened in the city and they were calling in extra officers, which does happen occasionally. So I got dressed and went in without thinking too much about it. When I arrived, I found out that a woman had come to the station that morning and filed a kidnapping report. You're kidding me.
What?
You're joking.
What?
Did she say that you kidnapped her son? Who does she think you kidnapped?
Send her to jail. Send her to jail.
So at that point, you're a police officer and she just filed a false report against a police officer. I think that's curtains for her. I think she's done. Please be done.
I mean, like, there's nowhere to go from here. There's nowhere to go but to just, like, no longer be involved with this person.
Yeah, we gotta cut, like, all contact with her. She claimed that one of the officers who worked there, specifically me, had taken her son against his will and was keeping him in my home. Insane. So easily disproved.
Officers, someone has taken my son to their home and they've been living together in a loving and caring relationship for years.
And now my son doesn't talk to me. He must have been kidnapped. I knew immediately it was mother-in-law, but knowing who was behind it didn't make it any less serious. Filing a false report is already a crime, but she was accusing me of a felony. If an accusation like that were to gain any traction whatsoever, it would not just damage my reputation, it would end my career, disqualify me from ever working in law enforcement again, and potentially result in serious criminal charges. I am not a person who frightens easily, but I will be honest. Sitting in the captain's office that morning, I was genuinely afraid of what else she might have prepared. Whether there was fake evidence somewhere, whether she had found someone to back up her story. The captain was calm and professional. He asked me to explain what was going on, and I told him everything from the beginning. The stay at our house, the fake hospital call, all of it. He listened without interrupting. Then he said he needed to verify my account, which was completely reasonable. You can't simply take an officer's word for it when an accusation this serious has been made. He arranged a meeting between me, my boyfriend, and mother-in-law. When we walked into the room, she was already seated. The moment she saw my boyfriend, she jumped up and rushed toward him as though she was greeting someone who had just been rescued from a terrible ordeal, full of tears and outstretched arms. I mean, like, it takes one sentence from OP's partner.
True.
Like, one, what were you thinking?
Yeah. It's really, all it takes is one.
But it takes two to tango.
Oh, yes, it does, because you have to say, would you like to tango? And they have to say, yes, of course. And that's 2 sentences.
He stepped back and told her firmly to keep her distance. Then he told the captain plainly and without any drama that he had never been kidnapped, that he lived with me because he had chosen to, and that everything his mother had told him was a fabrication. I like to think that OP and mother-in-law were in the room with the captain. The mother-in-law was like, he kidnapped my son. He kidnapped him.
He kidnapped my son and he made him gay.
And then OP's partner walks in and goes, there, officer. There's the woman that lied about me being kidnapped. I'm fine.
I'm fine. In fact, I'm fine and I'm a bottom.
And I'm gay. And by gay, I mean happy. And also, I like men.
I've got a fine bottom.
Mother-in-law tried everything she could think of. She cried. She invented details. She claimed conversations that happened that never did and that I had said things I never said. But she had not actually thought of any of it through properly. And she kept contradicting herself mid-sentence. At one point, she claimed I had been holding my boyfriend captive for the entire 4 years of our relationship. The captain looked at her steadily and said, so your son was held against his will for 4 years and you're only reporting this now? She had no answer for that. How would you answer that? Yes. Just 'cause I didn't, they're gay, officer.
I was gathering evidence. Well, where's the evidence? Their gay dog ate it.
Yes, it's not my fault. She kept talking, hoping that volume and persistence would substitute for logic. It did not. The captain told her she was wasting police resources. The investigation was closed, and he strongly advised her to reconsider her approach to her son's relationship.
I love that her technique was just like the same technique that would be used by an uppity customer at like the Gap customer service station. Just get louder and more angry.
If I'm
maybe
screaming,
they'll just give you what you want.
you have to agree with me. I'm loud.
The louder I get, the more my son was kidnapped by his lover.
Mother-in-law, not someone who takes advice gracefully under any circumstances, responded by beginning to lecture the captain on how he should be conducting himself and doing his job. That was the moment everything turned. You do not lecture a man who has served in law enforcement for nearly 20 years on how to do his job. Her plan to destroy my career ended with her in handcuffs. She was arrested for filing a false police report, and because the person she had falsely accused was a serving officer, the fine handed to her was the maximum allowed under the law. It was a very significant amount of money. My boyfriend was contacted about her bail. He said no, without hesitating. Let her sit in a cell and think about what she's done to her own son. So that's exactly what she did until her trial came around. The trial resulted in the maximum fine being confirmed. She was furious, telling the judge and everyone present that I had manipulated the legal system using my connections. Who does she think you're connected to?
I mean, he's a cop, so it's like,
I guess
you
so,
could
yeah.
make the leap that he's got connections in the, Justice Department or whatever. But
She's like, this is all a coup. You're trying to coup me.
I think Ming Ming in the comments has the best comment. Held against his will for 4 years, but he still works, goes out to party, and visits me. Yeah, he was kidnapped, officers.
He was kidnapped in a really nice, kind of chill way, officers.
He was kidnapped in the way that you get kidnapped when you find someone you really like and you move in with them and you have a life together that you share and you love them.
And then you have a child together and that child naps.
Oh, man, what a fool. What a fool this woman is.
Yeah, big fool. That she hated law enforcement, that none of this was fair. I sat there thinking about the fact that not long ago she had walked into a police station and tried to use that same legal system as a weapon against me. And now she was outraged that it had not worked the way she intended. After the trial, we blocked her number. She found other numbers to call from, as we suspected she would. She told my boyfriend the fine was too much. She could not afford it. And since we had caused the situation, we were responsible for paying it. Now,
I would like to submit all of the evidence that this is fully your fault, mother-in-law. What? None of this would have happened if you weren't an absolute lunatic going out of your way to try and sabotage your son and OP's life.
if you weren't a lunatic, you probably, I don't know, would have a relationship with your son. You'd probably have a normal life. You'd have friends. But instead, you suck.
Instead, you go to jail and you sit there.
And think about what you did. We were in the middle of saving for a trip to the US, and we told her that simply was not gonna happen. She pushed and pushed over the following days, insisting it was a son's duty to stand by his mother. Until eventually she said something so genuinely awful to my boyfriend that he ended the call and stopped picking up, which is the right move to make with this woman.
Yeah, sometimes things get said and you just gotta hang up because it's like, nah, we're not gonna entertain that. There's nothing to entertain there.
A few days later was my boyfriend's birthday. We were planning a quiet, romantic evening at home, just the two of us, when the doorbell rang. Don't open it!
Or look through the peephole. That's why we've got peepers.
For the peephole.
The peeper hole.
There was no one at the door, but a package had been left on the doorstep. It's a bomb! Throw it out!
She's like, I read online you could make a bomb to turn people straight.
And that's exactly what I did.
I put a bunch of clippings of a Playboy magazine in there, and when you open it up, it blows up into your face, and now you're straight.
Straight to jail for you, lady.
Oh, man.
Given everything mother-in-law had pulled recently, my cop instincts kicked in immediately, and I treated it carefully rather than just tearing it open. We checked our outdoor security camera and could see someone matching her description, leaving the package and hurrying away. I had colleagues confirm it was safe before we touched it.
Dang, he had the bomb squad come out. That's crazy.
He's like, dog, sniff this. Someone test this.
Yeah, no, that's his colleague.
Yeah.
His
my
colleague is a collie.
Yeah, my colleague.
No, I don't think they use collies for police dogs.
We're German
It'd
shepherds.
be funny if like just the cuter and cuter dogs that they used for as police dogs, like a police pug.
Police pug, like in The Kingsman.
No,
You
I
haven't
no
seen The
reference for
Kingsman?
me. They had a police pug in that movie?
Well, in The Kingsman, they all have to pick a dog,
Oh.
and he picks a pug. Anyway, it was safe, but it was not a birthday gift in any recognizable sense. The box was filled with books and brochures about HIV and AIDS. That's a terrible gift. That gift sucks.
Well, it's important to be informed, you know?
It is. It is important to be informed, but that is still a terrible gift.
Yeah, I don't think that's coming from the right place in her heart.
Yeah, all of my gifts from now on are just going to be about safe, spicy sleep. And if you guys complain, I'm going to say, I just want you guys to be safe. That's all I want.
That's all I want.
There was a handwritten note wishing my boyfriend a happy birthday and explaining that she felt the most valuable thing she could give him was information about the consequences of the choices he was making, with a reminder at the end about the outstanding fine she expected us to pay.
Does she think that only gay people get AIDS?
Yes, she does think that. And also, apparently, she thinks that only gay people get STDs or STIs. Girlie, anyone could get that. And a lot of people do. You
Yeah.
just have to get tested before you start having spicy sleep unprotected.
Yikes.
My boyfriend stared at it for a long moment and then started collecting every brochure he could find about nursing homes, funeral homes, and cemeteries. That is such a funny response. I love that. And he's like, well, I just want you to be safe. Just want you to know what your life is going to look like without me in it. Good luck.
Ay.
He put them all inside the same box along with her original material, wrote a note suggesting the information might be more practically relevant to someone her age, and sent the whole thing back to her through the post office. I thought it was a pretty reasonable response, all things considered. Around this time, she also called to let us know she had found someone to place a curse on our relationship so that we would lose feelings for each other. What?
crazy.
What?
I went to a psychic and she put a curse on you for being gay.
I found a witch. I found the one straight witch who wanted to put a curse on you.
I gotta assume that a lot of her hatred for the way OP and her son are living their lives comes from a religious place. And I also would like to point out
How hypocritical it is to put curses on people when you're probably Catholic or Christian.
I don't think your higher power would appreciate you channeling dark and magic to sabotage your son's relationship.
Dude, I know Christians who wouldn't even let their kids read Harry Potter. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna like you using curses. Macer's Racer says, she got an Etsy witch? Those Etsy witches would never put a curse on a gay couple. She said this with complete seriousness. My boyfriend and I looked at each other and then started laughing. Honestly, if practicing magic kept her occupied and away from us, we were absolutely in favor of it. We wished her the best of luck with that. With the fine deadline approaching, she showed up one morning at the coffee house where my boyfriend works and simply refused to leave. He was stuck because she had ordered a coffee and was technically a paying customer, and he couldn't throw her out without cause. She sat at the counter and talked at him for 5 hours without stopping, going over the same ground again and again, insisting it was his obligation as her son to help her.
Not the freaking coffee house filibuster. That's crazy.
That's so true. Dude, you don't have to legally listen to the filibuster. Let's swap out. I'm sure you're not the only person there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that your coworkers like you enough
You can
to
fight
take
back.
over.
You can fight back. You don't have to talk, but you can just go just blow air in her face.
And also, like, loitering laws, most places will say you can, refuse service to anyone. I'm sure there is a way to get her out of there. I arrived during my lunch break, ordered a coffee, and stayed beside him at the counter. Her attitude shifted slightly with me present, but she still did not leave. Eventually, she got up, said some pointed things to a completely innocent customer who had only come in for a coffee and had nothing to do with any of us, and finally walked out, calling back from the door that she was still waiting for the money. I feel like she turned to the customer who was just like waiting for the coffee and was like, "Did you know that these two are gay?"
Oh, see, I was thinking like she like went up and was like, "And I hate your haircut."
No, wait,
and then
that's
walked
better.
out.
Your haircut's freaking stupid, and the customer's like,
And you're ugly.
"What did I do? I'm just here for my macchiato."
Macchiato, more like I hate you.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, well, these people owe me money and they're gay.
Okay. A few days before the deadline, she appeared at our house again. She informed us she had paid the fine herself. She's like banging on the door. "I paid it myself, just in case you were wondering."
I wish if you had external speakers on your patio, I would just start playing the song, "Here comes the money, here comes the money."
When my boyfriend asked how she had managed it, she told him it was none of his business. That's so funny. So she comes to the house, is banging on the door like, "Just so you know, I paid the fine." I imagine boyfriend stays inside, shouts through the door, "How'd you manage that?" And then she goes, "None of your business. I just came to tell you that. I'm out of here." And then she does like the fake walk away slam, but she's still there.
I know it's not legal to spit on people, but man, this woman deserves to get spit on.
What about a water gun?
I think that's also technically like a
Can we look
form
that up?
of. Like
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up.
Man, if I was her son, it would just be open the door, close the door.
What about like a spitball? Can you do anything with a spitball? They
I
do
don't
that
know,
in school.
man.
I feel like that's not illegal.
Maybe, you
Spraying?
know what? Maybe you could get away with this. She's on your front porch. You mop the entire house. You open the front door to toss out the dirty mop water, and you go, "Oh no, I didn't see you there. What a terrible accident we've had. Well, I guess you shouldn't have been standing there on my property." Uh-oh.
The general consensus is that spraying someone with a water pistol is illegal,
What a soft country we've become.
but only if it's unwanted. I'm trying to find this Reddit article. It says, "To the many people that ask me, yes, shooting at unarmed people in the water violates the Geneva Convention," which is not the question that I was asking.
Thank you, AI robot,
Is
for
it a
letting us
war
know
crime?
about our violation of the Geneva Conventions.
Yeah, so I'm asking about shooting water, and it's answering shooting into water. Anyway, we've got more story. So she had the money the entire time. Every phone call, every guilt trip, every 5-hour visit to the coffee house, every accusation that we owed her has been theater. She has been perfectly capable of paying for it herself, but believed on principle that we should be the ones to do it, because in her mind, we had caused her to be in that situation. The logic was circular and entirely her own, but she committed to it completely. After everything, we decided to move. We sold our house, made a good profit, and bought a comfortable apartment near the center of town and close to my police station. Close enough that I can walk to work some mornings. We told mother-in-law we had moved, but did not give her our new address. She was furious about this, which we expected, and which we also did not particularly care about. For a brief period, things went quiet, and mother-in-law reached out saying she was sorry. Little too late, mother-in-law. Little too late.
Too little, too late.
She said she didn't want to lose her son. She said she missed him and wanted to find a way to have a normal relationship. We were cautious, very cautious, given her track record, but we agreed to try and meet her for coffee. She was polite, calm, and almost gentle. She admitted she didn't understand our relationship, but that her son was her only child, and that mattered more to her than being right about everything. We appreciated her saying that, and when she asked to join us for my birthday dinner, we still said yes. Why? Why? Why did you say yes?
You're too big. These guys are huge. They're such the bigger people. They're so big. The biggest people of all time. You're looking like Jormungandr.
You're giving her too many chances. I was watching this D&D campaign, and in it, they're in the final battle, and one of the characters, they're like fighting a bunch of people, and one of the characters hears from the DM, "Open your window!" And they're like, "What?" And he's like, yeah. You just hear someone say, open your window. And they're like, okay. And they roll down the window and they immediately get shot. And that's what this feels like. Open your window. The mother-in-law's like, let me in. And they're like, okay. And she's like, pfft.
Immediately bad things
Yeah.
happen.
Fool.
Why would you open your window? You
Fool.
don't know me.
You don't know me. Don't let me in. Oh, man.
That's so great.
I know. It was so
What a
funny.
great
It was
move.
so funny. And that's what this is right here. I want everyone to think about the worst person in their life. And then think about giving them an unlimited amount of chances. Because that's what's happening right here.
Mine's my cousin. And there's no reason for me to hate her. I just do. Like, she has done nothing to me, nothing to anyone. She, like,
Wait, but then
She's
that's
fine.
that's not applicable.
I just don't like her.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry
no
to
reason at
Savannah's
all.
cousin.
Shout out Savannah's cousin. You are unlikable for some reason.
We don't know why, and we don't know which cousin this is about.
She-
Don't name her, though.
No,
You
I'm
didn't-
not naming her.
You didn't do anything in particular, but boy, oh boy, she is not a fan.
But anyway, we've got more
my God, and
story.
she's gay.
Dinner went well right up until she asked to use the bathroom. She was gone for longer than seemed necessary. Why would you ever take your eyes off of her?
Yeah, she's definitely fiddling around in your space, man.
She's like attaching a pipe bomb to your sink right now.
Or
She's-
cameras.
Yeah, she's putting like
Oh, yeah.
baking soda and vinegar in your drains.
Oh, not a baking soda volcano.
Yes, she's
Ew,
making
gross.
a baking soda volcano in your drains.
Can you imagine all the gross crap that's gonna come out of there? Ugh.
Probably good though.
Well, yeah, but then you gotta like do something about it.
She's like, I'm making you do something about this. Then a noise came from the hallway and she reappeared in the living room holding something. It took me a moment to register what she was carrying. She's like, she was holding a pair of handcuffs.
She was holding an M26 fragmentation grenade.
She had apparently found these pair of handcuffs in our bedroom, which she had wandered into on her way back. Wandered.
Yeah. At that
She
point,
had
you go, oh,
wandered.
Mom, you're getting lost. You're getting lost in our house. You're wandering around. You're forgetting how to get back to the dining room. I guess it's time to put you in a home.
Uh-huh. These handcuffs were there for completely ordinary adult reasons. Nothing more complicated than the fact that my boyfriend finds my job interesting, and the cuffs happen to be his favorite thing to bring into that context.
Well, you guys did meet when you arrested him.
Yeah, so it makes sense that he's still into that.
It makes him nostalgic for the early days.
He's like, do it again. Do it how you used to do it.
They just role play that night.
Yeah.
Every night.
Oh,
Have you been
man.
drinking? Because I'm going to have to arrest you. Officer, no. But sometimes they switch.
All right, now you be me. I'll be you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Notes. I like that. Be a little more gruff, a little
A
more
little bit more
stern.
rough with me. Push me
No, I said gruff. I said
around.
gruff with a G. Gruff with a G.
And I said rough.
Yeah, you're making me uncomfortable, Sophia.
Oh.
You're like
okay.
my sister. I can't hear you say that word.
rough.
Ugh.
Mother-in-law, however, had a very different theory about what she was looking at. She was convinced she had found evidence of something terrible happening in her home. She's like, why do you have these handcuffs? And he's like, I'm a police officer.
Wait, pause just for 1 second. Mr. Belton, did I correctly name that frag grenade? Did I do that right? Did I pluck that out of the ether of my mind? I love that if that's true.
I also think it's even funnier if these aren't OP's police issued handcuffs and instead are like pink fuzzy.
I think they're probably not, right? Wouldn't that be like maybe like against the code of conduct?
Yeah, they're like, hey, please stop using those handcuffs.
You got to have your professional handcuffs and your personal handcuffs. And
But maybe you could-
neither shall the two meet.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, my boyfriend tried to explain as calmly as he could that this was simply a normal part of a relationship between two adults who trust each other, and that whatever she was imagining was far more dramatic than reality. She wouldn't hear a word of it. Why is she here?
Straight up, bro. Like, is this just a test of y'all's own like tolerance for tomfoolery here?
Is this the bad place?
Come on, man. Like, just stop it.
There's
Stop,
a
stop.
frozen yogurt place on every corner, and your mother-in-law keeps coming over. This is the bad place. The birthday dinner unraveled into the same chaos we had already had with her. When she finally left, she picked up the birthday gift she had brought me on her way out the door. I gave that to someone I thought deserved it, she said. Now that I know what kind of person you really are, you deserve nothing. I'm taking my pamphlets and going. So much for the peace officer.
I'm taking my pamphlets and I'm going.
So much for the peace offering. That was a peace offering?
Yeah, you will not get peace. She does not want peace. She doesn't want it.
She only knows war. She was built for war. She's
never going to be cool with you guys.
Yes.
Y'all's existence goes contrary to everything she believes in, apparently.
Yeah, she has literally said from the start, I don't support this relationship. I don't believe that my son is gay. She has never made any sort of comments that might make you think that she believes otherwise.
She just goes to her friends and she's like, I just don't understand when he's going to stop pretending to be gay. He's a lumberjack, for God's sake. You can't.
We moved forward and focused on ourselves. Christmas was coming and we made a decision that we were simply not going to be reachable for the holidays. We joined some friends and rented a log cabin far from our town. Before we left, we all agreed to leave our phones at home so nothing would interrupt the Christmas spirit. And we left our neighbor with a heads up to keep an eye on the house while we were gone, just in case a certain someone decided to pay a visit. It was snowing at the cabin. We played games, exchanged gifts, ate too much, laughed a lot. It was the first time in a long time that Christmas actually felt like Christmas. We came back on December 28th, and our phones had not survived the silence well. My boyfriend had over 100 missed calls from a number we did not recognize, but immediately recognized as mother-in-law finding yet another way around our block. The messages were frantic, asking where we were, why we were not answering, whether something had happened. Our neighbor also told us that a car had been parking in front of our house regularly while we were gone, stopping for hours at a time. She had not tried to get inside. She had sat there and watched the house. Insane. Instead of celebrating Christmas with people who actually wanted to spend time with her, there isn't any.
Yeah.
There's no one.
I'm not sure where those people are.
She had spent it surveilling our empty home. At 2 p.m., a rabbit crossed your yard. At 3:14 p.m., the clouds shifted and it started to rain a little bit. At 5:06 p.m., I was getting hungry.
At 6 p.m., I was wishing I could see a raccoon of some kind.
At 7 p.m., rejoice, a raccoon appeared. Later that day, she showed up at our door, pounding on it hard enough that we heard from the kitchen. I opened the door and she demanded to know what we had done with our son.
And you know what I do here?
Water gun. My boyfriend came out from the kitchen, asked her why she was there again, after being told repeatedly that she was not welcome. She tried to push past me into the house, and my boyfriend stopped her and told her she had not been invited in. This offended her deeply, though I'm not sure why it should have, given her track record. She asked where we had been. My boyfriend told her we had gone to another country and gotten married. We had not, of course. We had spent Christmas in a log cabin with friends. But from mother-in-law's perspective, it was very easy to believe because my boyfriend had proposed to me over the holidays. Woo! That is a win. I love this. His gift to me was 2 gold wedding bands, one for each of us, with my name engraved on his ring, and his name engraved on mine. It was symbolic since we cannot legally marry where we live, but it was one of the most meaningful things anyone has ever done for me. Oh. We were both wearing the rings when she arrived. She looked at our hands, she looked at our faces, then lost her composure entirely. She started yelling about how 2 men could not get married, about what God would think, about the state of our souls, about the meaning of marriage being ruined and how we would be punished for this.
Again, as soon as she brings up God, I'd be like, remember when you did a dark curse on us?
You remember when you did a curse? That's against God.
Wait, yeah, remember when you channeled the powers of evil to sabotage us and it didn't work?
Her reaction was genuinely something to behold. Because even if we had actually gotten married in another country, there was absolutely nothing she could do about it. No one has the power to walk up to 2 people and demand they be unmarried simply because they disagree with the match.
Well, not anymore.
Yes.
But if you were the King of England?
You could
Back
do that.
back in the day?
You could do that. Or like the Pope. She cannot take what we have away from us, no matter how loudly she yells about it.
No matter how loudly she sells those seashells by the seashore, she can't do a dang thing about it, that's for sure.
Nope. Then, in the same breath, she turned to my boyfriend and told him he had not congratulated her on Christmas. What? Are you Santa Claus?
Congratulations on all that heavy lifting you did on Christmas.
Had not called, had not sent a gift, and how could he do it to his own mother? He told her plainly that he did not think she deserved gifts. She announced she was going to the church to speak to the priest about what could be done to save them. My boyfriend told her what she could do with that suggestion and closed the door. I think shove it up her butt was probably what he said.
You can stick that where the sun don't shine.
We moved forward and started saving for our trip to New York. Whoop, whoop.
New York, it's a wonderful town.
NYC.
The sun goes up and the bottom down.
Something we had been planning for a long time. When mother-in-law found out about it, how is she finding out about things? Who is she talking to? Who are you telling? What's going on?
How is she continuing to, bypass the block? What are we doing? Why aren't we taking more measures to make sure she's not able to be aware of our lives?
When mother-in-law found out about it, she immediately decided she should be coming with us for free, with all expenses covered by us. No!
In what universe did she earn that?
We told her that was not happening under any circumstances. She insisted that my boyfriend could not travel to a foreign country without his mother at the age of 28.
What if he forgets to wear his jacket?
He's so little. He's just not big enough for a big travel.
Yeah, what if he gets lost? He's just a little 1-inch man. He's just a tiny, teeny little 1-inch man. He's gonna get lost.
Which is an interesting position to take about a fully grown adult man.
Oh, my bad. I was wrong. He's not a little 1-inch man. He's 28.
She then convinced herself that the real reason we would not take her was that we were planning to emigrate permanently and were abandoning her. Nothing we said could talk her out of this conclusion. Who cares what she thinks? Honestly, it might be better if she thinks you're leaving the country. Why are you trying to convince her otherwise? Why are we talking to her at all? Eventually, she announced that she would follow us to the airport and board the plane with us whether we agreed or not. With what money? We did not tell her our departure date. New York was extraordinary. 2 weeks that disappeared like minutes. We walked until our feet gave out, ate at a tiny cheap restaurant, saw everything we could fit in, and felt completely free the entire time. Not once did we have to wonder what mother-in-law was doing or when she might appear around a corner. It was the most uninterrupted peace either of us had felt in years, and we soaked up every single second of it. When we came back, she found my boyfriend at the coffee house and wanted to know why he had not called from America, what he had brought her, and how he could have left her without informing her. He told her he had brought her nothing. She was offended. Then she got to the actual point of the visit, which was that her monthly income was no longer covering her expenses and she needed money from him. No!
Yeah, you gonna have to change your expenses, mama.
No. Pew, pew, pew with my water gun. You're all wet. Stay away from me.
Water gun, but put a little sugar in there. Make it nice and sticky.
And now all the ants get all over you.
Yes, now you're covered in 78 million ants. They're gonna pick you up and take you away. And they go, hop, 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 hop.
He asked what she was spending it on that left her with nothing each month. She could not give a real answer. He told her we had spent almost all our savings on the trip and had nothing to give. She told him that was clearly my doing and that a son had a responsibility to his mother. He walked away from the counter and let someone else serve her. You could have done that last time when she was talking to you for 5 hours. Then came the morning that changed everything. I arrived for my shift, got changed, had a coffee, and walked outside with my partner toward the patrol car. Mother-in-law was standing near the station. I saw her, said absolutely nothing, and walked straight to the car. I was not going to engage. I was on duty and had a job to do. The fact that I did not even acknowledge her apparently pushed her past some kind of edge because she reached into the flower bed nearby, picked up a rock, and threw it directly at the windshield of our patrol car. The glass cracked but held. That's a crime.
Again, it's like
Full crime.
Did she just forget that she's doing this to a cop?
Crimes.
You're doing this to a guy who can straight up just arrest you for this.
Full on crimes. She had clearly aimed for the passenger side where I was sitting. She seemed to realize almost immediately what she had just done because she turned and ran.
I would love to see the body cam on that.
She went, Chuck, and then she went and ran away.
Imagine she does run super fast, though.
Yeah, she just, whew.
She's like the Flash.
I got out and ran after her. Tackle. She made it as far as the park nearby before I caught up with her. What followed was, without any competition, the strangest and most chaotic arrest of my entire 9-year career. And you know what's funny? Now you've arrested 2 people in this family.
Back to back.
Woo! She dropped to the ground and screamed for help, telling everyone in the park that I was not a real officer and was trying to kidnap her. People walking their dogs stopped and stared. Joggers paused mid-stride. She fought every attempt to restrain her, refused every instruction, and when my partner arrived with the car, she refused to get in, holding on to anything she could reach and making the whole process as difficult as physically possible. I have arrested wasted people, aggressive people, people in genuine crisis. None of them came close to this because she is crazy.
Yeah, I think she is in genuine crisis.
Yeah. Back at the station, she demanded to see the captain, who recognized her the moment he walked into the room and looked deeply unimpressed.
I love that she's somehow under the impression that she's got an in with the captain after the stunts she's already pulled.
Yeah, where she insulted the captain last time? Girlie, you're not getting anything. She complained that I had treated her roughly, and I mistreated my position. The captain reviewed my body camera footage and played it for the room. It showed exactly what had happened, and it was clear and complete. When asked to explain what was on camera, she said she had been fighting for her life because she genuinely believed I was going to shoot her in broad daylight outside a police station.
That's a good argument you got there, Ma.
Come on, girl. The captain thanked her for that explanation and moved on. She was charged with vandalism of a police vehicle, fleeing from officers, resisting arrest, and assaulting an officer. Then she was taken to jail. Yes!
Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go to jail.
Finally! Oh my goodness, this took so long. Her trial arrived. She was sentenced to 1 year in prison.
Whoa.
That's a
crazy.
long time.
And in prison?
Yeah, prison. She sat in the courtroom looking genuinely shocked, as though she had been certain that after everything, she still somehow had the moral high ground and would walk out free. During the trial, she had tried repeatedly to redirect the judge's attention away from what she had actually done, going off on long tangents that had nothing to do with the case, and now she's trying to filibuster in the courtroom too.
Yes. Judge, you don't understand. This guy makes a terrible caramel macchiato. Have you ever had a caramel macchiato that just made you say, this day is ruined? In fact, my whole week is ruined.
Yeah.
Well, that's all this guy pumps out at the coffee shop. He goes, ma'am, we're talking about you throwing a rock through a police car window.
Sometimes people would ask for an upside-down caramel macchiato, which is just a latte.
He's banging the guy. Gang, gang. No more macchiato talk.
Stop.
You are making a macchiatery of this court.
Ooh, that was a good one. Every time the judge brought her firmly back to the facts. When asked if she could prove any of the various claims she was making about me, mother-in-law looked at the judge and said, "What proof do you need? Just look at him."
What proof do you need? Look at him. Also, did I mention he's gay? I don't like that.
The judge dismissed it and continued. When the verdict was read out, mother-in-law looked stunned. Her attorney announced they would be taking this case to the appeals court. So technically, the sentence still could be reduced, but even a reduced outcome meant a meaningful stretch of time without her in our daily lives. As my boyfriend and I walked out of that courtroom together, I felt something I had not felt in a very long time. Clean, uncomplicated relief.
Freedom.
By the way, I hope it relieves you to find out that we have full episodes with stories just like this on the iHeartRadio app. So go check them out by searching up OK Storytime. And we have a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Hey, she finally worked her way up to real consequences.
Yeah, it took so long and it took so many times of you guys just letting her back in.
I don't know. Good. Don't feel guilty about it. I feel like based on how this story has gone, we're going to hear like, yeah, so we plan on visiting her like once a week.
Yeah.
It's like, no, just be done. Be done, be done, be
dinner
done.
to the jail because she's hungry.
Put your hands up and say, freedom. Thank you.
But we've got a little bit left to this saga. She had tried to separate us in just about every way imaginable. Fake medical emergencies, false criminal accusations, manufactured jealousy, bribes, hexes, staged scenes, and finally a rock thrown at a police car outside a police station at the start of a working day.
Still so crazy that she tried to argue that she was in fear of her life in that moment.
Yeah, pretty insane. She pushed her son further away with every single move she made, never once seeming to understand that she was the one creating the very distance she claimed to be trying to close. We have been together for almost 5 years now. It's not always easy, and no relationship is. We have our arguments and our complicated days like anyone else, but this love has held through things that would have ended most relationships, and those gold rings on our fingers are proof enough of that. If mother-in-law wanted to know whether I truly loved her son, I think 5 years of evidence ought to be more than enough, even for her. And that's the end of the story. You gotta love it.
Mom's in jail and everything's great. Everything's coming up roses. Maybe she was just misunderstood this whole time. Maybe it wasn't that her son is gay that upset her. It was that she needed a more forwardly facing gay job for her son. She's like, the lumberjack job combined with your love for men confuses me. I need you to have a job like a
hairdresser,
like a makeup review guy.
I need you to start your own YouTube channel where you review makeup. Otherwise, I just can't have a relationship with you.
It confuses
just me.
Too confusing.
But on that note, that is the end of this mother-in-law saga. But we have way more stories for Call Your Mother Week, so go check those out.
We do. We've got 6 of them by my count.
Anyway, if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you and
see you tomorrow.
Hey, don't leave yet. We have some bonus stories that we think you'll enjoy, so stay tuned for the next one.
My sister gave away my cat, so I pretend she's not there whenever she visits.
That's a fair response.
January marks 5 years since this happened, but it still feels like a week ago. It all started with my older sister bringing home a cat. It was 2018, and this was the 3rd cat she's brought home in a 6-year span. The last 2 weren't with us anymore because the first passed from getting hit by a car, and the second one, quote unquote, ran away.
Oh.
More on that later. By the way, this comes from user SpareAsparagus7298, and if you want to submit your stories, go ahead and do it on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, she was getting over a breakup with her longtime boyfriend of 4 to 5 years and decided she wanted a pet cat. I was hesitant at first with getting attached, given our previous history with cats and other pets, and because how much our mom has always voiced us not to bring animals home because she doesn't like them, especially cats. But she coaxed me into the co-parenting situation for this kitten, and that I'd be his owner as well. With that, I agreed and figured since I was 16, I was older from when we had the previous cats, so should anything go wrong, I could intervene financially and support it with allowance money.
That's sweet.
Me and the kitten, Tyga, were inseparable. Anywhere I went around the house, he'd be right by my side. Whenever I went to sleep, he'd climb right into my bed and sleep with me every single night. If he was even locked out of the room, he'd scratch at my door and meow loudly, demanding I open it, and would immediately purr when I did. If I was cooking in my kitchen, he'd be watching me from the kitchen chairs, and when I came back from school, he'd come and greet me at my front door. He was absolutely everything to me, especially when I was going through a lot during that specific time period, and school was the last place I wanted to go. Seeing him was honestly the highlight of my day. Even to this day, I don't think there's been a sentient being I've ever loved more than Tyga. This cat's getting stolen, people. All right, I will refer us back to the title. All right, there are shenanigans are afoot with these cats. So if you cannot listen to a story where like this cat is being taken or where potential health hazards to the cat are incoming, if you cannot handle a story with potential animal passings or and such, probably this is your warning. During late 2019, however, he was a full-grown cat and would go in heat and was starting to get destructive because he wanted to go outside and was spraying around the house. It's because of this my sister grew tired of him and would constantly voice how she doesn't want him anymore and that she wants to give him away for money. She would also jump on my mom voicing her grievances about having a cat she didn't ask for around the house as more of a reason to give him away. Anytime she'd say that, I obviously got upset and told her that she needed to get him neutered. Part of the agreement we had when co-parenting him was that I would be responsible for feeding him, buying the food, and watching him when she was gone, which was practically all the time, while she would cover buying and cleaning his litter box and anything else he needed. Now he needed to be neutered, but she didn't feel compelled to, since she no longer wanted him. She would give excuses like, I have work that day, or I don't have a car to drive to take him. Meanwhile, she was very comfortable taking mom's car whenever she needed to run her own errands. Eventually, I was fed up with her constantly saying how she wants to rehome him, so I straight up told her, if you do anything to this cat, you might as well find me a new home as well, because I will never talk to you ever again, and I will never recover from this.
Why didn't OP, if the issue was that they weren't yet neutered and there was a threat that I might get rid of him because, or him or her because of it, why didn't OP just get them?
They're young, 16, 17, you know, so they're still at that age where it's like,
They didn't know.
I don't know if you can legally bring an animal in as a minor somewhere and like have it taken care of, honestly. I think it's always tricky when you're under the age of 18 to do anything like that.
Sure.
But
But if the sister can, it seems like OP can.
I think the sister's older though.
Possibly.
However, my sister just brushed what I was saying off as childish banter and refuted by saying he's going to be taken care of in a new home and you're not going anywhere. Basically saying life was going to keep going and dismissing me. I tried to say something back, but she wasn't listening because she was getting ready to go to the club.
To the club.
To the club. On January 2020, my relatives invited me to come on a cruise with them, but I was hesitant on going because of my last haunting conversation with my sister. But since the cruise was only 3 days, I figured nothing would happen in such a short period of time. So I went. Trigger warning. Trigger warning is here, folks.
No.
Tyga didn't come and
Shut
greet
up.
me like he usually
All right, next
did.
story. Next story.
I frantically looked around the house, but I couldn't find him. When I asked my parents, they said they saw him a day prior and that he might have escaped. I asked my sister, and she said the same thing. Fair enough. It's not the first time he's escaped. I gave it 3 days until I started to fully panic, and to my anxiety, 3 days passed, and still no Tyga. At this point, I was devastated and didn't know what to do. My grades started slipping, and I was very dejected in school, barely talking to my friends, and my teachers were taking notice of my then current state. I'd be holding back tears in the middle of class because of how much it was destroying me inside that I didn't know where Tyga went. My school friends promised to keep an eye out for him and would send me pictures of cats they've seen around their neighborhoods, which eased my mind that he had people from different neighborhoods keeping an eye out for him, in addition to me doing everything I could to lure him back home. So I eventually put his disappearance in the back burner for my own sanity at that point. We gotta hold out hope. Tyga's gonna re-enter the picture here, okay?
Mm-hmm. He's coming back.
I need hope.
He's on his way back right now.
I need hope
It's happening.
that Tyga's coming back. It was routine for me to wake up and check if any of his food that I'd left in the backyard was eaten, along with leaving his litter box and my clothes with my scent on it, and looking for him during my walks to and from school. Eventually, the pandemic hit, so I wasn't able to go outside much, but I still left my stuff outside in hopes that he'd somehow be lured home. During all of this, my sister got with a new man, and the next thing I knew, she brought home a baby French bulldog. And surprise, surprise, she left me in charge of taking care of him while she was gone.
One of the dogs I'm dog sitting right now is a French bulldog. He's a freaking menace. He's just a menace. And he's always making wild noises like he's an alien. Like he'll just be licking his paw and like visually it's so calm. He's like, and then the sound of it is like,
Yeah, they got those smooshed out faces.
I'm like, what? How does that even come out of your mouth? crazy.
They're talented. The French bulldogs.
The French are talented.
The French are talented. I was very confused as to why she'd bring home a puppy when Tyga was still missing. It felt like the efforts to find Tyga were very one-sided. In the end, even her owning the puppy didn't last long because she bought the puppy from a store. It ended up not being taken care of properly and passing away. One day in particular, however, I was extremely depressed because it was around 4 to 5 months since I'd last seen Tyga and all the what-ifs were hitting me. My sister saw the state I was in, and when I explained, she said, "I have hope he's still out there. He's a strong cat."
Yo, if she's lying,
Lord, give me strength.
if she's lying
Lord,
and says
give
that,
me strength.
it's gonna be wild.
So I used that as hope to not give up and that he truly was out there, probably just fathering cats or something. August 2020, still no Tyga, but I had discovered the Neighbors app and instantly put in a missing cat ad for Tyga on top of doubling down and putting paper ones around my neighborhood. The views on the ad gained 10,000 views and had a lot of replies, one of which someone said they've seen a cat that
Oh.
looked exactly
Oh,
like him.
okay. We have hope.
Ecstatically, I went to my mom, hopeful that my search might actually be over, but immediately she shot it down and said, quote,
No.
"I thought your sister gave away that cat."
John, we're going to get back to the story,
Yeah.
but you're old.
You're as old as me now, pal.
I might be as old as you, but I feel like you have oodles more wisdom.
I've got some wisdom in this old noggin.
You got a
baby.
piece of wisdom for me right now?
Always respect you.
And I think the other piece of wisdom that I've learned from John is join OK Storytime memberships.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Get it now while I'm still alive.
Now back to the story.
It was in that moment that I had my first derealization episode. But what snapped me back was what my sister said with how, quote, she has hopes he's still out there. So I immediately messaged her saying someone might have found Tyga, but that mom wasn't letting me go and that I needed her to come with. But she immediately shut it down saying, "I'm not for this. He was destructive when he was living with us and I'm not willing to let all that back into my life."
She's still lying. She's still lying. The thing that
I would never endorse violence.
Jesus.
I would never endorse that. I would not endorse that.
The worst part was her saying, "There's still like the fake encouraging of like she could still be out there," and then you freaking gave it away. Yeah, she instantly be gone to me. You got to do the you're dead to me look.
I was defeated. It was like everyone was against me finding closure and happiness, especially for all the agonizing months I went without Tyga. And then my mom made everything worse by doubling down, asking me if I'm sure because she was almost certain that my sister got rid of the cat. What started off with uncontrollable streams of tears flowing down my face ended up with me having a 7-hour-long mental breakdown so loud that all my surrounding neighbors were knocking at the front door and asking if everything was okay and contemplating on calling the police. But I didn't care. The police wouldn't have done anything. You needed to call Ghostbusters because your family are ghouls.
Poor girl, dude.
Your family are creatures from the Black Lagoon. Your family is a bunch of cryptids walking around pretending to be human beings. They're demons.
Also, the mother just forgot about the original lie and was like, "Oh, I thought your sister gave that away."
I felt like the worst owner in the world that I let yet another cat, one so precious to me, meet the same fate as my last two. The thing with the last two is I never found out the truth about what actually happened to them until many years later. I was told that they ran away, but that was a lie. The second cat I mentioned earlier was released at a park by no one other than my sister. And I never found that out until years after the fact.
The same thing.
I didn't want to fathom about what actually happened to Tyga that day, whether she actually did rehome him or release him somewhere. I was at the point that if I found out the truth, it'd break me to damages beyond repair.
Poor
Regardless, I lost everything in that moment, and at that day forward, I harbored an immeasurable amount of resentment for my sister. I wasn't able to leave my room for a week straight. I spent most of the days sleeping in. I didn't even leave to eat or use the bathroom. I didn't even bother opening the curtains. I didn't think I deserved it because I let something like this happen again. I'm going to say I thought I deserved it because I let something like this happen again. On one of the days I was in my room, wallowing in my own despair, I overheard my sister talking to my brother in his room, and she asked where I was. He was shocked about how she didn't know about the mental breakdown I had, go figure, she's never home, and explained that I found out and how I never left my room since. I heard footsteps coming to my room and the doorknob twist, and her just slipping in a small, disingenuous sorry.
No, that's even worse than just saying nothing.
It was at that moment where all the immeasurable anger I had was summoned all at once, not to mention all the other childhood traumas she had caused that I won't get into, but the Tyga situation was the nail to the coffin of it all, and I was practically screaming at her that she was a whole liar and that she's a sadistic person who gets off seeing their younger sibling in such despair, and that I truly, sincerely hated her with every fiber of my being, that I was cursed to have a sister like her in my life, and that she truly was the worst sister to ever walk this planet.
Damn, dude. She took lessons in verbal in Dakota-ness.
She got off easy, dude. And she still got off easy. Crazy.
Dude, she's been watching the stream. She's been listening to you.
During it all, she still tried to make excuses for herself, arguing that he was spraying around the house and she couldn't take it. But I instantly shut her up by saying it's because she refused to get him neutered. She tried offering me a present since I had graduated from high school around that time, but I immediately told her to get out and that I'm not accepting it.
I wonder what the present was.
Yeah, probably something worth $5 that she thoughtlessly picked up out of a bargain bin.
She got her a cupcake. She's like, I got your cupcake.
Yeah. In the end, she moved out in 2021, which further angered me because her whole reasoning for giving him away was because he'd be in her living space, yet she was leaving soon anyway. Regardless, I still saw her every other month, even to this day, because she visits often. But when she does come by, I leave my house for the duration she's around because being around her, even just being under the same roof as her, is very triggering, and all my anger just resurfaces. All of my family members have and still view this whole thing as ridiculous, especially since it was over a cat, even going to lengths to make excuses for her, and that being family prevails all.
The same.
Would they say the same thing if it was a dog? Would they say the same thing if it was, I don't know, literally any, like what?
It's the same BS of that sentiment. So I have a date in my mouth of like family above everything, family above your pain, family above your needs not being met.
Family above everything, except if it's you. If it's you, we literally don't care about what you want or what you need or the fact that you have this this animal, this cat that you love. We don't care because it's about you.
Family
and even
above
though your family, we don't care.
Family above anything, including you. Not as part of that family.
There have been times they've guilted me for holding this grudge for so long because I don't know what could happen to her and that I'm going to regret cutting off my own sister from my life, but I don't care. I want nothing to do with her, and neither do I. I feel like you're in the right, OP. I don't even want to see her or hear her voice ever again, as harsh as that might sound. All she had to do was leave me and Tyga alone, and she couldn't even do that. Not even for her own younger siblings' sanity. Even when I told her this would happen, despite this all happening 5 years ago, the pain is still deep and it feels like it happened a week ago. And by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories that are not this emotionally crushing for animal lovers.
Sometimes.
Because we really don't have a lot of stories like that are this, we have just
we have bad stuff.
If you want to listen to full episodes with more stories, all right, go to Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. There is some more relevant story here.
The only way that there could ever be forgiveness if the sister like truly acknowledged the pain of like giving someone's loved pets away, and truly, like from the bottom of her heart, with like showing how much she understood how painful that was, her action caused, to like from the bottom of her heart to be like, I'm so sorry, and like ongoing, That's the only way there could possibly be any forgiveness. But
Yep.
before that, there should be no expectation of OP to do anything with the sister or have any amount of forgiveness. It is totally OP's sister's responsibility to take responsibility and accountability for her awful actions. Before that, it's out of OP's court completely.
It would take decades for me to move past that.
You a cat guy?
It would take decades, and no, I mean, yeah, I'm a cat guy, but regardless if it's like an animal that's my pet that I love,
Someone
that loves me,
that
that I
they
have
love.
a bond with,
Yeah.
and you're going to just disappear my animal.
Yeah.
We would have to be completely different people in completely different lives. And I mean, it's like people become different people as they get older. You know, it's like I'm not the same person I was 12 years ago, but it would take that amount of time to go by before I could ever become even close to cordial with this creature that is my sister. And even still, if we get back to cordial, okay, that's all it's going to be. I'm not going to hold any love for you. I'm not going to go out of my way to help you. I'm just going to tolerate you. That's all. You're done forever. But let's finish this story. Since then, I've sought professional help and have been fairly recently diagnosed with CPTSD due to these events.
Poor OP.
What is C?
Complex.
Complex PTSD. Okay.
Complex PTSD.
So there's times where I don't even feel that therapy is working because I just miss Tyga that much.
Poor OP.
All I'm told is to work on forgiveness for myself and not for her. But even that is hard. Now I'm the same age as her when she bought Tyga home that day, 22. And I truly can't picture me doing that to someone. All of these are permanent things that she can't erase or take back now, which honestly furthers my resentment for her. Every single ounce of this was avoidable, but she still did it, which is bigger than any middle finger to my face, honestly. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister how much I despise her and pretending she doesn't exist? Nope. Not the a-hole at all.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I inherited everything from my father. My sister is furious.
Hey, money me, give money me. I want your money me now.
I'm in my late 40s, married, and we are a single income house. Husband works. I take care of literally everything else. My adult son still lives with us while in college and also working full time. He doesn't make a lot, and what he does make goes to tuition, so he doesn't pay rent, though he does cover other non-food related needs. And by the way, this comes from U-Professional Elk 5272 on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So my sister is in her early 50s, divorced, and of course also has a single income household. Her youngest turned 18 and moved out in August last year, so the child support stopped. She does work, has a master's degree, and although I won't state her chosen field, she doesn't make that much currently, less than my husband in his field with no degree, or at least that's what she tells me. We each have our debts. We have a mortgage, a line of credit on our house, a loan for some plumbing, and 2 credit cards, ongoing vet expenses, car repairs, etc., etc. My sister's biggest debt is college loans she struggles to pay, a care credit bill because her cat ate a ribbon in June and needed emergency surgery. Do not mention a cat right now.
Do not,
Dakota in the room.
Do not let your cats eat ribbons, fools.
And an IRS bill because I guess she doesn't have enough taxes taken out of her check throughout the year, and also no longer has a dependent to claim. If her college loans weren't on an income-based payment plan at the moment, her payments would be $700 plus. We took out a line of credit on our house to try to pay some of our debts. She tapped into her 401k. Still, technically, if you went dollar for dollar, our debts are greater. Our father passed in May. Probate took a few months. As the title says, he left everything to me, and everything includes some investment money, which is more money than either of us will ever see at once. His house, which is badly in need of serious costly repair that is not just cosmetic and all the stuff in it, mostly music memorabilia, old furniture, and moldy crap. Dude, that must suck. To your father passed away, which is already so tragic, and then he leaves everything to your sister.
I wonder why.
That's a good question.
Like, what was the reasoning there? There had to be some kind of reasoning there, right?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Either way,
Maybe she'll say.
hard situation to navigate, right?
And it just causes, like, I imagine it'd be so easy for that to like cause like conflict between you and the sister who received everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, so many families break, like go no contact because of like bad wills or just like issues with the legal process with that.
Yeah.
Like that's speaking from experience of my family. It gets messy.
Yeah, it's certainly best to get in front of it. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. A real estate agent took an informal look around as a favor. House was still packed after he passed away and estimated that if we sold it as is, we might get $200,000. The house flipping people she knew were not interested in taking it on.
Damn.
It must be a bad house.
Dude, that thing is in bad
If the people
shape.
that
If the
flip
flippers are
bad
like,
houses are like,
there's no money there.
I'm not taking that.
You might as well burn it down and sell the land. Like, that's crazy.
The house flipping people said she knew were not interested in taking it on. Dad still owed $83K on it. Damn, so it comes with the bill.
Okay.
So whatever it does sell for, that comes right off the top. He also passed away with over $100,000 of medical debt, but thankfully none of those debtors put a lien against the house before the 6 months was up. I have made every single loan payment, the property taxes on his house, repairs on his furnace. I will be paying for the dumpster or junk removal people. I will be paying for storage for the stuff being saved. I paid for the probate attorney. I paid for the funeral. I didn't ask for help with any of that and don't feel she has any responsibility to, for the record. Yeah, he left everything to you.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
So far, Dad passing away has cost me $18,000. The inheritance isn't free. Yeah, but it's like it's $18,000 taken out of.
It is
money
true. There's,
that
I
is
mean,
yours.
it's not free. There's money that gets taken out of it, but you do end up probably at the end of the day on top.
yeah.
Like you're not
Yeah.
paying more than what you're getting.
Yeah.
But you do. Yeah. It's like winning the lottery. It's like winning the lottery is also not
You gotta
free.
pay your taxes.
You got to pay all the
Your
tax.
metaphorical taxes.
Yeah.
So why did he leave everything to me? Good question.
Yes, please.
He was an extremely difficult man, a narcissist, spiteful, emotionally and verbally abusive, bitter from being in a wheelchair from his 30s on. Passed away at 70, and he ran off every single family member and friend he had, my sister included.
Well, turns out she did nothing.
Yeah. He was,
Turns out he was a
lack of better words, he was a difficult man to be with. Nothing was ever his fault. It was always the other person according to him. She chose to cut contact for her own sanity, which I was a little jealous of and fully supported. They did not part on good terms, and they hadn't spoken or seen each other in almost 20 years. I didn't leave. He and I had no healthy boundaries. For over 20 years, I was there almost every weekend, both days, almost every holiday. He required it, or it was a fight. At times, I was on the phone with him up to 10 hours a day, every day.
full-time job.
I
Well, that's
feel-
why you got all the money. That's why you got everything.
you
were
deserve
doing
all
the
the money.
full-time job.
And yet, it's
Taking
like,
care of your narcissistic father. Crazy.
it's like I'm conflicted. I feel like so sad for you and mad for you, and yet you created the scenario where you're the victim. Or you didn't create it, but you were complicit to it by being the only one who didn't leave like everyone else did.
What do you mean?
So it's like,
That's the person. That's the one getting the inheritance.
yes.
Yeah.
So
You mean
saying,
a victim of like the situation with like?
I'm
now that
saying
the
I'm
sister
so
is
upset
bad.
for her. I'm so sad for her that she had to experience the brute of her father. But she was the only one who didn't put boundaries down with him.
Oh yeah.
And so she stayed.
But hey, you
and-
got a sick inheritance out of it, right?
So you do deserve that inheritance, but I wish you just put down boundaries. And I understand it's highly complex, and I don't understand the scenario.
What if this situation is just OP's a sociopath who was just been playing the long game for the inheritance? No, it's not true. It's not true. I'm just messing around, okay? Where it's not true.
All right. I just remembered a very sad, tragic tale.
Oh, what is it?
I remember when a young Samuel Donner, he wanted to join the cool kids, but instead of labeling you as one of the cool kids,
They called me Salad Boy because I ate nothing but salads. Could not trade my lunch for a lunch bowl, really anything.
You know what community will always welcome you with open arms, Sam?
And make you feel like a cool kid?
The great people who have OK Storytime memberships.
Oh, I heard that's 60 plus hours of members-only content Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
You heard right, Sam, and it's only $5 a month.
So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join. Now back to the story.
Chomp, chomp.
So for over 20 years, I was there almost every weekend, both days, almost every holiday. He required it or was a fight. At times, I was on the phone with him up to 10 hours a day, every day. When I was there, I cooked for him, cleaned his house, I did his grocery shopping, I went to all his doctor's appointments, I got him ready for those doctor appointments, I did all his wound care. He did not because he complained about having how hard it was, and there were many wounds, many rounds of rehab, hospital stays.
Full time.
Not only are you like bearing the brunt of being the only relationship he has, you're his nurse.
Yeah.
You're in full charge of his care. That's
Full time.
awful. He spent almost 3 years going to weekly wound care appointments. I even cleaned him up when he had bathroom accidents. When he fell out of bed, my husband and I were the ones he called in the AM to come help him. I'm not saying like that like I deserve a pat on the back. I'm not a saint. Excuse me. I resented a lot of responsibility and did my share of complaining, but if I stopped, there was no one else. He lived alone with a dog, no friends, no family, and he was not capable of caring for himself, while refusing any form of assisted living, nursing home, or paid care at home because, you know, that was supposed to be me 24/7. According to him, it was in his will that he was going to leave everything to me and just $100 to my sister, in quotes, to get wasted on because he was past.
Bitter. Just a bitter man.
Seriously. Yeah, he was that kind of cruel. She knew and refused the $100 because, like a normal person, she was hurt and insulted. He had to go out with like a jab. Jesus. I don't know if his will actually said that verbatim. His lawyer friend said it didn't, but I've not seen it, and indeed everything was left to me. My sister knew this and even signed a paper with the probate attorney that she was not contesting. I've given her whatever she has wanted to keep of his possessions as we've gone through his wrecked house, regardless of value, because like, who cares? Just stuff. It was her dad too. I've not given her money currently, but I've told her over and over and over that I'll help her once the house sells. Hopefully before summer comes and we see what money we have to work with. I told her I'd pay her $3,000 IRS bill when it's due in June. That's nice.
Yeah.
Repeatedly, I've told her I will help. She just has to wait. I'm waiting. I've done nothing frivolous with the investment money. My husband and I are not living it up. I've not paid a single bill of ours that wasn't directly related to my father because I need to know that what there is to work with after the house sells. The investment money is what remains of my father's lawsuit from the accident that led him to be in a wheelchair 30 years ago, and it's not quite 6 figures. Although I have been losing money with the way the stock market has been, as long as the money is in there, it is earning, and the more that stays in there, the more it earns. We'll also have to pay taxes on anything that is taken out. I will never have the money to put back what's taken out either. And if you don't want to take out, but you want to receive, you could listen to full episodes with stories like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. So, there's another relevant update, but let's discuss. I feel like I don't really have too much to say. Do you have anything to say?
I'm waiting for the sister to be furious. It seems like
it's leading
the sister does not care.
Yeah.
It seems like. I think we need to hear the end of the story before I'm ready to talk on it because I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm waiting for this other shoe to drop about the
And we're
sister.
also speedrunning the story. So.
Yeah.
My sister knew this money existed, but not the amount until recently because I knew it would stir up bad feelings, so I didn't tell her. And I was not wrong. She's now angry with me, angry that I've had access to this money the entire time and haven't paid off her bills, forcing her to tap into her 401k. So, am I the a-hole? Am I being unreasonable asking her to wait until our father's house sells and not giving her any of the money he left to me right now? He doesn't even want my husband to touch it. I don't think you owe your sister anything. And also, you are intending to help your sister.
Exactly.
And it's going to just be it's going to be financially more comfortable because in like will processes, knowing from personal experiences with family members, and also conflict from that, things change drastically. And so it's best not to like communicate what certain numbers will be because it changes. It's like it's so up in the air of like what that number is going to be.
That was like OP's entire reasoning.
Exactly.
OP was like, I'm not playing around with it until I know how much is there.
Exactly. And so that seems quite reasonable and smart to me to be like, hey, I'm not using any of the money. I'm not giving you any of the money. and I will help you out, even though I don't have to, but it's kind that she's helping
Right.
her out.
Yeah.
Once I know what money is available, it seems like that's the most intelligent thing to do.
I think, just probably, I don't know. I'm sure maybe you've already had this conversation with your sister, but just letting her know the full game plan. And also being like, also, I think what our dad did was messed up. I think it's really messed up that he just, left you $100. And any of this money that can go towards helping you pay off any debts that you have, I'm more than happy to help you. But we just have to wait until we know what we're working with.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because I have my own life. I want to be able to use this money to help me and my partner. And you. I think we can all prosper here. We just have to wait. And so it's just a waiting game.
And also, it's like, I celebrate her for going no contact with her dad. I think that was a good decision. But if you're going to cut someone out of your life, you're not entitled to their money when they pass.
True.
And so I'm not celebrating OP for staying in relationship with her father. Although, if anyone deserves the money, it's OP.
Yes.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
My sister excluded my brother's boyfriend from her wedding because she wants them to break up.
Dude, that's some high-level manipulation.
Blech. So, I, 20 female, am currently stressing on something between my sister Emma, 22 female, and my brother Eric, 21 male. For background, my brother and Julia, 22 female, used to date back in high school. We had known each other since we were kids, as Julia was Emma's best friend growing up. By the way, this comes from user Mediocre Rock 4364, and if you want to submit your stories, head on over to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and submit them there. So, however, she and my brother broke up 3 years ago due to her moving to a different state for college. That would be her brother and Julia. Their breakup obviously affected my brother negatively, but eventually he moved on and had a few girlfriends here and there, but nothing serious until he got with my friend Ben, 20 male. Me and Ben have been friends since high school. As compared to my siblings, I have always been more quiet and introverted, as well as my friend group, which Ben is part of. Ben and my brother met when we were in high school, but they never talked, as he as introverted as me. I honestly don't know how they even ended up together, but they did, and they began dating a few months ago. My brother came out as bi to my family. They do make a great couple and balance each other out.
Sweet.
My sister, on the other hand, wasn't happy, as she had this weird loyalty to Julia and always made sour faces whenever my brother brought home anyone after his breakup, because in her mind, Julia is the one for him and that Julia wanted him to wait for her. But she honestly thought this was another one of my brother's flings, but she finally realized that my brother is, in fact, serious about Ben. Now to the main problem. So my sister is currently engaged, and her wedding planning has honestly been so stressful, as my sister has been extremely unorganized. Her wedding is on February 1st. Yeah, you heard that right. February 1st. It's literally a few weeks from now, and she is barely sending out the invites.
Wow. Dude, talk about procrastination.
Oh my God.
It's not my wedding, and I'm stressed.
Your
Jeez.
wedding's in 3 weeks, and you didn't even send out the invites yet.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
That's
Ugh, that makes me
maybe
stressed.
the most we've read a lot of wedding stories. I have not read that yet. I have yet to read that. She has a maid of honor, but she can only do so much, as my sister has taken over the planning, and nobody questioned it, as it's her wedding. Luckily, she is having a small wedding with mostly only family and a few friends, so most of them know that her wedding is that day, even without the invitations. Then a few days ago, she told me she's going to forbid my brother to bring Ben as his +1, as Julia will be there. And according to my sister, Julia confided on her that she still has feelings for my brother.
How long has it been since Julia and Ben's breakup? Or excuse me, Julia and the brothers' breakup?
3 years.
3 years.
It's been 3 years.
And are the sister and Julia, are they close? Was that
They're
it?
still, the sister had always maintained a strange loyalty
But are
to
they good
Julia.
friends?
I'm assuming they must be.
Okay.
I mean, you'd have to be pretty good friends with somebody to exclude your own brother from your wedding.
I just couldn't
Or
imagine.
your brother's partner. They are planning on excluding Ben from the wedding so Julia can have a moment with my brother. I told
so
her,
frustrated with that sentiment.
It's stinky. Do not do this.
For lack of better words.
Low key, I feel
Stinky.
like she's upset that he's bi as well. I just feeling that. I don't know.
You're like, also,
I'm
it's a hate
feeling
crime.
that.
It's also a hate crime.
I'm feeling some hate, maybe. I'm not sure. I told her that she is insane and told my mom about this. But she sided with Emma, saying that Eric is clearly going through a phase, hates that he's bi, and that he and Julia belong with each other, and told me to mind my own business. Which is crazy because that's what you should tell your daughter. Tell Emma to mind her own business.
Yeah, for real.
She's trying to play matchmaker.
Dude, you kind of called the gay thing.
I don't like it, but it feels like that's what's going on. So she said that Eric is clearly going through a phase and that he and Julia belong with each other. And she told me to mind my own business and that my sister can invite who she wants to her wedding. I honestly don't know what to do. I know I will be wrong if I don't tell my brother what my sister's planning, but at the same time, my mom is right and my sister can invite who she wants as it's her wedding. I don't know what to do. How should I handle this? To be honest, this wedding has been a mess from the start to finish, so I'm just stressed from everything. My family has always been open-minded and has never once made homophobic comments towards anyone, as one of my cousins is lesbian and everyone supports her. So I don't know why they are so hostile towards Ben and keep saying my brother is going through a phase and keep deluding themselves with the idea Julia is my brother's soulmate when they've been broken up for 3 years. Again, sorry for the long post, but I just need advice. Don't know if maybe this is the case, but you said that your cousin's a lesbian. Sometimes people's opinions on sexual preference are differentiated by gender.
That's true.
Or whatever your identity is.
That's true.
You know,
that's the point.
Some people are totally cool with that, and then they're not cool. You know, people like their flavors.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
People are like, I don't like ice cream. I only like one kind of ice cream. You know? Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but you're old.
You're as old as me now, pal.
I might be as old as you, but I feel like you have oodles more wisdom.
I've got some wisdom in this old noggin.
You got a piece of wisdom for me right now?
Always respect you.
And I think the other piece of wisdom that I've learned from John is join OK Storytime memberships.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Get it now while I'm still alive.
Now back to the story.
Was there more?
We have some comments.
Okay.
Ooh, and I would like to read the first one because it says, yes, you're the a-hole. If you don't tell your brother.
Oh.
They're planning to do something that would hurt him and his boyfriend. If you don't tell him and you allow this insanity to go unchallenged, you will be a massive a-hole. Not as big as your sister, mother, and Julia, but still a big a-hole. OP replies, how should I bring it up? I don't want to cause drama between my family, especially on a date so close to my sister's wedding, but I don't know how to tell him without making everything worse. Another reply, you should have a private conversation with your brother, tell him what your sister's planning, and be prepared to not go to the wedding. Also tell him that your mom knows and was just gonna let it happen. Ooh, that's good. He deserves to know about the snakes in his life. And I'm gonna just go straight to the update here. There were some more comments, but
who gives a hoot?
Honestly, I don't think I maybe if you don't tell the brother, you'd be the a-hole, but it's still not really.
It would be bordering on like pretty rude.
Yeah, I think you should just tell your brother not to go. That might be another option.
Or I mean,
anyway,
just say,
yeah,
hey,
if there's snakes in the family,
this is information. How do you feel about it? And then support him, but he can make his own decisions.
Update. So I posted 2 days ago asking for advice, and everyone was advising me to tell my brother. I didn't tell my brother at first, as I wanted to have a conversation with my sister and hopefully fix whatever was going on before making it to a bigger drama, which I think that confirms your thought that the OP is taking on more responsibility than she actually needs.
Yeah.
Because that's not your job to fix your sister's latent bigotry. Like, what are you talking about? We had a talk the day I posted this, and surprisingly, she was open to having a conversation. And I asked her, why is she so hung up on the idea that Julia and Eric belong together? She told me that when Julia broke up with my brother.
Oh, Julia was the one who broke up with the brother.
Maybe? Well, let's continue. Julia was heartbroken because she loved him, but she knew it was for the best. I asked my sister Why now? That our brother is in a committed relationship, did Julia decide to come back? That our brother was willing to do long distance with her back then, so I don't get why Julia is acting this way now. My sister told me that Julia had known for a while that my brother had a few flings here and there, but nothing serious, as my sister had been telling her everything that went on with my brother. Then Ben came into the mix, and my sister at first assumed that he was just another one of my brother's flings and told Julia about it. But then they both kind of realized my brother is serious about Ben, since it has almost been a year since they've been together, and Julia panicked because I guess she thought my brother would never move on from her. I honestly don't know what went through her head and why my sister keeps enabling her. So basically, after that explanation, I told my sister that Julia needs to move on and that they are both acting crazy for doing this. Not my best moment, but I honestly don't know how to react to all this. My sister got mad and basically ended up yelling at me to leave, so I did. I was planning on telling my brother that night everything, but then she called me and told me I was right,
No
and
way.
that she and Julia were being cruel for doing this. Apparently, she had a change of heart after our conversation, so that's something, I guess. A part of me is still questioning the sudden change. I don't know. Should I still tell my brother? Yes, you should. She did sound sincere, so why poke the bear and make bigger drama? I don't know. What do y'all recommend I do? I think I'm just stressing myself out over this, but what should I do? By the way, if OP, if you're listening, what you should do is go listen to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All you need to do is search OK Storytime, and you'll have the full archive of episodes to choose from. So, okay, so from my perspective, I think the move here is you still tell your brother, but like you don't, you know, you'd be like, hey, so we talked, she said, she's like, you know, just tell him everything.
Wait, sorry.
And then let him make his decision.
My brain went out when you finished that. Did they say that she was going to let the brother invite Ben?
Julia and Emma were like, oh yeah, they called back and were like, this is messed up. What we did is messed up. We should not be doing this. We will not do this.
Oh, okay.
And then, but again, then the OP is like, I am a little suspicious here because it was a quick switch up.
Sure.
Which is like, you know, maybe they're just switching up because, I don't know, they're liars.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's a tricky,
I think you tell the brother
situation
and let him make his own decision because he needs to know that there's people in his own family that are like kind of like low key, not that are thinking like his decision to be with Ben is like a phase or something, or that it's not serious.
That
or
was
that
that
they're
seemed
not
like
seeing his identity. Like
that seemed like a mother, older generation not understanding. It seems like the Emma and Julia, primarily the reason was like Emma trying to help out her friend get with a guy.
Yeah,
her brother, who Emma is still in love with.
She was just trying to. I don't know. It's crazy. That's not the place to make a power play. Also, what are you doing organizing power plays for your friends at your own wedding? You have other things like maybe the invitations to worry about.
If you weren't worrying about these power plays during your own wedding, you would have sent the invitation out earlier.
Okay.
Jeez.
So let's see how this finishes here. We got a little edit. Guys, I'm telling him. Thank you for opening my eyes. These comments made me realize that regardless of whether my sister did or didn't do her plan that she had with Julia, it was still insane to think and plan that out. The thought of her just lying so I dropped this and wouldn't tell him, but not actually keeping her word, never crossed my mind, to be honest. Oh, you sweet summer child.
That's where my mind would have gone.
I was just confused by her sudden change of heart, but you guys made me realize that could be a possibility, and they could still potentially do their plan, or as some comments mentioned, have another plan. And here's some relevant comments to finish us off.
Is there another update?
No, let's see what the people are saying here.
Okay.
Comment 1, honestly, I think you're doing the right thing by telling your brother. Even though your sister seemed sincere, she could still be covering for Julia or just feeling guilty. It's better to be upfront and honest with him now before things get messier. You don't want to be the one keeping secrets. When it comes to your brother's relationship, trust your gut and keep protecting him. Agreed.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.